Hi, my name is Tanya and welcome to my small backyard vegetable garden here in central Victoria. I've been away for a few days and I'm very happy to see these Rudbeckias have settled into their pots. They've been hanging out on my hot water tank while I was away. I've also had the seed snail carrots and the broad beans on there as well, just giving them a bit of warmth while I was away and I couldn't keep an eye on them. I've brought back my copper saucer from up the top potting table. Now that I am sowing more seeds, I just want to keep all of my seed sowing consolidated in one spot. The coir got so wet up there in the rain we've had while I was away. These are the broad bean in the seed snail, and I'm just going to put them all in together. I do need to get the rainbow chard planted out and this pink celery. I think I will be planting out the pink celery into some copper pots so I do not have to worry about snails. And it's always a juggle with the coir from one spot to another, but I do find that that is very helpful in making sure seeds don't dry out. And it gives them something for their roots to go down into. It's so good to see the sun after days of rain. We've had a fair bit. My lawn is sodden. No shoots on the carrots or the broad beans just yet. It's only been a few days, and of course everything moves slower this time of the year. Now, just to dry out this coir, I'm going to put some dry coir in there, and that will help dry the really sodden coir out. This golden hour light is just so beautiful. I love to be out in the garden at this time, especially after so much rain. Seeing the sun is such a delight, and after weeks of seeing no cabbage whites, I had one flying around my pak choi trying to land and lay eggs. I quickly moved it on using the blower just to gently convince it to go elsewhere. The pak choi has had days of rain on it and I think they have doubled in size. I'm looking forward to picking those very soon. I have my ongoing list that I like to keep pegged here. It helps to keep me a little more focused on things that I want to get done. And at the moment, I am down to my last job, and that is clearing the ground beds and pulling down the mesh arch, which is exciting but sad at the same time. I've picked out a few more seeds that I would like to get going, and some will be direct sown and some for seed snails or pots. The spinach I'm going to sow straight into the garden beds because I don't think you can ever have too much spinach. A few of these might be a little late, but I'm going to give them a go anyway because I have the seed.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
While I've been away, the slugs and snails have indulged heavily in my Womboks. I have them planted in both these end beds, so I'm going to put together a slug and snail trap and just see how I go, trying to reduce the numbers of them. I don't have any beer, so I'm going to use a spoonful of Vegemite in some hot water, and I've just sunk some jars into the garden bed. You can tell here how much they've eaten into it. I was coming up and checking during nighttime when they're out and quite visible, but while I've been away, they seem to have had a few days of partying. This Wombok is such a magnet for them. These turnips are coming along nicely. I bought a couple of punnets of these and they established really quickly, so I've been able to pick the leaves. They are delicious, fresh or sauteed with the wombok. It's been 4 days since I set up the slug and snail traps, and I have checked on them most days in between. And because we've had rain, I made these little covers out of some large tins, and what I have found is that the snails crawl up and sit in underneath the tins, which ends up being a lucky escape for them. I have caught a few things in the Vegemite water, and this one has one inside the jar, but I don't think they have performed as good as what maybe they could have. The tins are just enough to keep the rain off. I have found that this garden bed is affected by the slugs and snails more than the one beside it. Whether that has something to do with more shade here, I'm not sure, because they are both planted up with exactly the same things. There doesn't seem to be anything in that one. Moving across to the other garden bed, I just gently lift the tins off because I don't want to lose those snails if they're sitting up inside the tins. It's very hard to see in the Vegemite if there is anything, and I think they, especially slugs, sort of break down in the water. My Brussels sprouts are growing along wonderfully. I am so happy with their progress. No snails in this one either, but I have mixed up a new brew to try for the next 4 days, and I'm just going to see which one works better. This is some dried yeast and some warm water. And I'm wondering if it will perform better than the Vegemite. This one might be even more difficult to see if I've caught anything in it. Just going to check by pouring it into this other jar to see if I can see anything, and yes, there is definitely things caught in there. So giving it a good shake, it is just starting to foam up, and I'll just refill all these jars. I had thought about aligning these tins with the coir pots, and maybe that would be a good trap just in itself. Seeing the snails like to go up inside the tin, the coir, if it was damp, it would be an ideal place. I think they would love it. So I might give that a try also. I never tire of seeing the leaves of these red Brussels sprouts. Now that the cool weather is here, they seem to have grown on faster than in the warmer weather. I am going to try and squeeze in another planting of spinach. After so much rain, this poor garlic is feeling a little waterlogged, so I thought I would plant a few spinach in around and try and soak up some of this moisture in the garden beds. It's not looking too bad, but if I can squeeze in another crop of spinach, I will not be complaining. I did move some sweet Alice plants out of the ground beds in amongst this garlic on both sides. And I'm going to use my jars from last year. Not so much as a glass house, but mainly just to keep the seed safe from birds or slugs, and I will know where they are all been sown. In a bed where I know there is slugs and snails, it will just give that little bit of guarantee that they'll be safe till they are up through the soil. I'm just using the jars to mark where I'm wanting to sow the seed. And I've got a little bit of seed raising mix to put over the top. So I'm just marking the circle, putting a few seeds in, putting a little bit of seed raising mix over the top, firming it down and putting the jar back over the top, making sure that seed is a little bit evenly spread out. If I can get another crop here, just layering on my crops will expand the amount that I can get growing. And I won't be picking from the same few plants all the time. And if it does worry the garlic, which I don't think it will, I can always just pull them out. I have the seed and I may as well be trying to get some in here, there and everywhere. I am racing against light here. It's very close to the shortest day of the year, and I feel like I race the light every night when I come up here at the moment. Hopefully they will be poking their heads through the soil in a few days' time. It is quite cold also. It's interesting that I have beans coming up in the garden bed from summer, so it has been warm enough for those to germinate.
coat on. Ooh.
It is a gorgeous sunny Sunday morning, and I have made some progress last night in the dark, starting to pull down the arches and clearing the ground beds. And I have my coffee, and this is such a joy to be out walking in the sun with a cup of coffee in my hand, checking to see if any of the spinach have started to germinate. Nothing in this garden bed. But check out these sweet peas. When I trimmed the tops out of them, they have come back quite sturdy and are looking very healthy. I picked up this primulus from Mitre 10 the last few days, and it is absolutely gorgeous. But these sweet peas, trimming them has made a great difference. And surprise, surprise, this shaded bed, the seeds have germinated. They were both planted within a half an hour of each other, and these have germinated. But let's have a look and see how the yeast has gone. And yes, we've had more rain. And I have a collection of different things in the yeast water, which is interesting, and more little snails down the bottom. The tins have worked fantastically keeping the rain out. And thankfully the Wombok has really grown on in the last couple of days with the rain. It's always good if the plant growth can outgrow the damage that is getting done. There's one there. Let's give him a wake-up call and move him on. And I'm not quite sure why the earwigs would be going in here, but there are some snails in there. So just on this look 4 days later, the yeast water seems to be working better. But look at that during the sunny hours. What is exciting to see is that my purple sprouting broccoli is coming up to form a little head here at the top, which means, fingers crossed, the sprouts will be showing soon. And actually, just in the last few days, also the red Brussels sprouts are doing the same. This seems to have caught a few things also. We've had a fair bit of rain yet again, and my grass is being torn up. And a few more things there also. So I think this yeast water, the dried yeast in the water, has probably outperformed the Vegemite. And I've never used beer, so I'm not sure if that may outperform the yeast. But look at this. This is very exciting to see. These are the first lot of Brussels sprout seeds I sowed right back at the start of February. The color of the green and purple just brings me so much joy, and it seems all 4 of the purple sprouting broccoli are coming up to head. But during our rainy weather, my tank has decided to sink and I had just filled it up. So with all the weight, the ground is very wet and I am giving Charlie Carp a try. But these are pure delight. How is it that I am picking fresh raspberries in winter? The canes were hanging over, so I'm doing this as a trial. I'm just bending them over and arching them like a little arched top across this wrought iron. I don't know if they'll stay there. I have heard that raspberries do fruit better if they are bent over like that, but I'm not sure if that is the truth because I haven't seemed to have a problem with them just going wild. Oh, the birds have been into that one. And this 30-year-old blood orange tree is fruiting. And look at this. Are we all a little confused? The blueberry has flowers on it while it is changing color. That is such amazing color. And I got my pink celery planted out into some coppers. So I'm hoping that they will kick on now that they have more soil around them. It was dark up here one night and my daughter and I came and got them planted in there because I thought no longer are they going to sit in seed snails. These are the parsnips and they seem to be germinating not too bad. Going on last year, they take a fair bit of time to germinate. This roll of netting has saved these beetroots. And the rapini has come along also. It is quite delicious and I have been picking little bits off and eating them. I love the bitter taste to them and bitters can be quite healthy for you. But they look pretty happy in there. I also planted these out late last night after we had a full day of rain. I had to come out and get my garden fix, so I got them planted up in these pots, these gorgeous colors, and it was too dark for me to deadhead them.